This place holds 67 inmates with severe psychiatric disorders. But even under armed guard, own female patient has mysteriously vanished. Now, normally that might not be a huge deal, but this woman, Rachel, was locked up here after killing her own 3 kids. To keep her from hurting anyone else, the FBI sends in their best, a seasoned marshal named Teddy. He heads in to investigate. Joining him is his new partner, Chuck, fresh from the Seattle field office. They've never met before, but there's a strange feeling like they already know each other. Teddy doesn't think much of it at first, because this psychiatric facility ahead of them is seriously unsettling. The place has hundreds of armed guards. The walls are lined with high-voltage electric fencing, and even the only entrance has 2 sets of iron gates. The moment they step out of the car, the warden tries to confiscate their weapons. Teddy pushes back, saying every federal agent must be armed at all times while on duty. But the warden shuts that down immediately. Gentlemen, you will not get through this gate with your firearms. He makes clear that under federal prison law, inside this facility, the warden holds supreme authority. Left with no choice, Teddy and Chuck reluctantly hand over their guns. If you knew the deal, they were here to work a case. If you didn't, you'd swear they just got thrown in prison, right after the guns are surrendered. The warden tells them only Ward A on the right and Ward B on the left are open for investigation. They can move freely between those 2, but Ward C, the fortified block at the back, houses the most dangerous patients in the entire facility. If they want in, the warden must accompany them. And they need written clearance from Dr. Cawley first. On the way to see Dr. Cawley, Teddy notices every patient they pass, this staring straight at him. Some reach out with a smile. Others look terrified and look away. One woman even puts her finger to her lips, nos, if warning him that something dangerous is coming. All these little interactions feel like they're hinting at some dark secret buried on this island. A guard soon leads Teddy and Chuck to Dr. Cawley's office. Before they even bring up the missing patient, Teddy spots some strange hand-drawn paintings on the wall. Before he can even ask, Dr. Cawley jumps in with an explanation. Those are real treatment methods used on psychiatric patients back in the day.
Drove screws into their brains. We submerged them in icy water until they lost consciousness or even drowned.
And now?
We treat them, try to heal, try to cure.
Dr. Cawley insists they now rely purely on medication and therapy, but Teddy isn't buying any of it. This whole place just feels deeply off to him. Take Rachel, the patient who vanished in her room. The windows were completely sealed with iron mesh, and the only exit had an orderly watching it around the clock. She wasn't even wearing shoes. Forget escaping. Just walking on Shutter Island's rocky terrain would be brutal.
Right now, all the evidence points to Rachel never having escaped at all.
But when pressed about the fated pill, the doctor flat out denies everything and starts avoiding eye contact like he wants out. That's when sharp-eyed Teddy spots something behind the bed, a folded piece of paper on the floor. It reads, "Who is patient 67?" And Dr. Cawley visibly tenses up. Seeing that reaction, veteran investigator Teddy knows that note is a big deal. But it's clear he's not getting anything useful out of Dr. Cawley, so he decides to question the rest of the staff.
Doctor, we're gonna need access to the personnel files of all the medical staff, the nurses, the guards, the orderlies, anyone who was working there.
We'll take your request under consideration.
This is not a request, Doctor. This is a federal facility and a dangerous prisoner.
Patient.
Patient has escaped now. You will comply.
All I can say is I'll see what I can.
Under pressure from Teddy, Dr. Cawley finally agrees to hold an all-staff meeting after dinner. But before that, Teddy and the warden head out together to search the cliff area, the only possible hiding spot on the island. Strangely, none of the guards seem to care. Some are slacking off, others are just lying around looking dead inside. Nobody seems to give a damn about this whole search. Only the warden offers anything useful. He says the nearest mainland is at least 17 miles of open water away. And at this time of year, the ocean is absolutely freezing. Even if someone beat the odds, the brutal waves would send them, or their body right back to shore. Teddy doesn't argue with that, but he figures Rachel could still be hiding in one of the sea caves near the cliffs. That's still on the table, right? The warden shuts that down too.
The base of those cliffs are covered in the poison ivy, live oak, sumac, 1,000 plants with thorns as big as my dick. You said yourself, Marshal, she's got no shoes.
Putting it all together, there's just no way that patient escaped from here. But Teddy still picks up on something off. The lighthouse across the water has armed guards patrolling it. The warden says the lighthouse has been abandoned for years. It's just a sewage treatment station now. He already had it searched. Nothing inside. Mid-sentence, the warden uses nightfall as an excuse to call off the search. But that lighthouse has lodged itself deep in Teddy's mind. Once all the staff have finished dinner, Teddy and Chuck start working through every single person. During the questioning, a young orderly who worked that night keeps avoiding eye contact, and Teddy, a pro at reading people, pounces on it.
Tell me the truth.
I maybe went to the bathroom.
What? You breached protocol, Christ.
I wasn't gone more than a minute.
That 1 minute is all it takes for someone to disappear without a trace. So Teddy follows the thread, pressing for anything strange Rachel did before she vanished, or anyone she might have encountered. A nurse steps forward and says Rachel's attending physician, Dr. Sean, had held a treatment review session in the ward that very night. But when Teddy asks where Dr. Sean is now, of all the timing, the guy is out on vacation.
We're gonna need to speak with Dr. Sheen.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. He left on the ferry this morning. His vacation was already planned. He'd been putting it off too long.
You're in a state of lockdown. A dangerous patient has escaped, and you let her primary doctor leave on vacation?
Of course, he's a doctor.
Do you have the phone number for where he's gone?
To make it worse, the storm has knocked out all phone signals. They've lost all communication. Nothing they can do. That lead on Dr. Sean is dead for now. But there's no getting around it. Rachel's disappearance is absolutely connected to Dr. Sean somehow. After leaving the room, Dr. Cawley casually invites them both over to his place for a drink, to unwind after the long day. What seems like a friendly gesture is actually part of a psychological experiment. And Teddy, completely in the dark, follows right along. Inside, the place is absurdly luxurious, a stark contrast to the grim hospital that surrounds it. Dr. Cawley mentions that this house and Ward C were both built during World War II. The classical music drifting from a record player slowly stirs up fragments of Teddy's wartime memories. With the music playing, another key figure steps into the scene. He's a German psychiatrist named Dr. Naring, same rank as Dr. Cawley, both serving as lead physicians at this facility. The difference is that Dr. Naring believes in biological treatments for his patients, meaning when medication alone can't do the job. He turns to surgery, severing the neural connections between the frontal lobe and the rest of the brain, wiping out the patient's aggression and extreme thinking. The medical term for it is a lobotomy. Dr. Cawley, on the other hand, swears by psychoanalysis, using role play to dismantle the defense mechanisms patients have built around themselves. Once the logic of their delusion springs a major crack, the patient starts seeing the contradiction with reality and naturally snaps out of it. Right from their first meeting, Dr. Naring fires a series of psychological test questions at Teddy. He's surprised to find that Teddy has an unusually strong psychological defense. Nas, if he's deliberately burying something deep inside, the back and forth wears Teddy's patience completely out. He came all this way to investigate a disappearance, not to sit here making small talk. So Teddy cuts straight to it. He demands access to Rachel's file and Dr. Sean's records, hoping to find a new lead. But Dr. Naring flat out refuses, and the two get into a heated argument.
Who the hell is in charge here anyway, huh?
Dr. Naring acts as liaison to our board of overseers. He relayed your request and it's been refused.
Refused? They don't have the authority to refuse, and neither do you, sir.
Marshal, continue your investigation and we'll do all we can to help.
This investigation is over. We're gonna file our reports and we're gonna hand it over to
Hoover's boys.
Hoover's boys, that's right. We're taking the ferry back in the morning.
Teddy talks about leaving tomorrow, but in his head, he's already mapped out his next move. That night, staring at the note Rachel left behind, he tries to figure out what "who is 67" even means. Next thing he knows, he drifts off to sleep. In the dream, he sees his wife, who has passed away. She tells him Rachel never actually left the island, and that the man who killed her, Latus, is locked up in this very facility.